All right, let's take you now to the Free State. And when the COVID-19 lockdown was enforced in March, the office of the Premier in Bloemfontein, Sisi Ntombela, took on a pledge to give shelter to approximately 100 homeless people. Furthermore, they pledged to take some of them back to school once the country is cleared of COVID-19. Our reporter Palesa Moeti is following up on the progress made so far. She's in the Bloemfontein CBD and talking to some of the homeless people as well who were accommodated in various shelters. Palesa, a very good morning to you. Let's start off firstly with regards to these promises, these pledges. Have they been fulfilled so far?
Well, as you said, we're coming from the CBD in Bloemfontein. We're exactly at Hoffman Square. What I can... the Department of Social Development says that they were able to reunite some of the homeless people back to their families, which obviously is a success for them to celebrate. And they also say that some of them are now going through various programs with social workers, but ultimately the plan is to reunite as many of them with their families as possible. Some, obviously there's challenges involved there. Those are still at shelters. There's still some that are still remaining in the streets at the moment, and we're going to be talking to some of them. One of them is 64-year-old Jan Dutoy. Hello, Jan. Hello. Tell me, how did you end up in the streets? I know that you said you're not feeling too well. You've got some chest pains at the moment. But you also said that you don't want to go to hospital because you've been in hospital for quite some time. Are you able to talk to us right now, Jan?
Huh?
Hello. Just tell me, how did you end up in the streets?
No, I was walking in the streets. I was lying in the streets. I don't have a place to stay. Then I came to the people and they gave me a place to stay. And that's very nice here because we are actually a home family. We get everything we want, and all the things that was happened is about them.
But tell me, why are you back in the streets when you were offered a place to stay? Why are you back here again?
Ma'am, I'm not so sure now about...
Yes, Jan, are you still able to talk to us? Sorry. Do you want to get up? Are you trying to get up?
No, ma'am.
So tell me, why are you back in the streets?
Oh, this is a long story, Mama. Must I tell about my divorce and everything?
Okay, that's not necessary. I mean, I meant that you said that you were at a shelter and you were being taken care of there. But now it seems like you're back again sleeping in the streets. Why is that? Why did you choose to leave the shelter?
Ma'am, it's better in the shelter than as in the street, because everybody want to judge you, they want to fight with you. Every time they see you, they getting worse, you know. They're not the people that can understand. You will also love like they are. Do the same.
Would you like to be able to find a warm place to stay in where there's food every day?
I think we must realize it's just people who are doing these things to us. They give us a place to stay, they give you a place to sleep, they give you food to eat, they get you wash every day, and I feel every human needs that thing.
Thank you very much, Jan. We're now going to speak to Paul, Mporasi Ngwadze. But let me just explain something quickly about Jan. When we spoke to him earlier, he also explained to us that he does have some grown-up children, but obviously because of some family dynamics, he's unable to reunite with his family at the moment. Mpo still has family in Welkom, but you also have you also ended up in the streets for some time now. Tell us about, let's go back to 2010. You were able to get, temporary shelter back then. You also did some life skills training. Tell us about 2010. Or maybe we should go back to how you ended up in the streets. How did you end up in the streets?
Yeah, starting BT, Mama Galagata 2007. Welcome, regular welcome to school. Kagijana against after Mama got Oshakala, Kageta Bufanti, to do little papa. My mama, papa, land snacks. As a class before Maba Galmin, later to Lana, Aratava, Mobile and Cross. I got Mama and try. Later to Lana. After that, I took snacks. Papa moved for shelter with this school. After that, to sing what the Twitter school, Chaletas, carry back school, and play on Twitter snacks workshop with Papa. After that, I get it to the Gabon from there. It's hard to get snacks. On the snacks, I get all up in Laha. I do starting 2008. After that, 2010, I had Sisi Ntombela and Catholic for Alcapora and tours. Only Rega school. So Rega school at Garadula, reducing Rega school. After Rega Rega school, let's up and be at entry. Papa is Marashu Kalena. After that, Amajitaman, Bala Savati to Sobastu, Capita Basinamo, all the two to her. Karen 1. After that, Cartola for a high, Magitas are singing. After the Capitala Topo, no guard will go to Cassin. Hagutela, Apegia High, Adula High, Welcome, Kagimona for Dula Fella, Hautana Fella, Happy, Gulal Magita, go Lambo.
Plan by the train, I can read about training.
After that, Barata after that, how Hutela Topo had. Haba Gavita Ringa Hapa Sizavan, Alcala Masses Port, here, into camping after camping Magita 35, Magita Mang Hapa, Garatama 9, Gal Sizavan, Korea, after here, 21 days. You need a Harley Reapa. Well, it's our Dogra shelter. Sisi Ntombela, let's have a Dogra shelter. Arupita, you need to have a Taxa Plus.
Eric Falusa Hanyan in 2000. He's saying that he left his home because of family dynamics. They were having problems at home with his stepfather. Relations broke down. That's when he decided to come to the streets. But before he came to the streets, he actually joined a gang. He told us earlier that he joined a gang. And obviously, his life took a wrong turn. And he also started doing drugs at that point in time. And then back in 2010, the government took them to a shelter. That was during the World Cup, where they were also given some skills training. After some time, he came back to the streets. Life didn't go too well. Mpo, let's just talk a little bit more. You said though you want to go back home. Yeah. Do you think you'll be able to go back home?
Yeah, you want to go high. I go to CBD. I have talent exposure. If I have cities, I need to see what to buy. Like a grab, which are in Tusa, like a Kala Gavasau, the Honotusa, Konaka Plaza, Konaka CBD, the Malumwa Galena, O Walaba, Nigeria, Konaka, Shavanabo, and Makono Kimutasi, Shelter, like in City Pokulu.
Sompo says right now that he actually wants to go back home to Welkom because that's where he originates. He came to Bloemfontein when his mother died back in 2008. But he says that in order for him to be able to get home, obviously would need to be able to earn an income and support, help to support his family. So that is his biggest wish. Mpo, earlier when we spoke to you, but you also mentioned that you need to go to rehab. Before you go home, you'd actually want to go for rehab. You've been to rehab before. What would make the difference now?
The temporary rehab ha re le re kgutla re listen to the after re epa re kgutla re le re tseba re tlo crash shelter Johnny ta vita re sa kae ka senior CRC mo lo sena di mama tu sena di first year a fita re sia mo Sisi Ntombela sa tsebe re dula mo la tseba re dula mo hlokile ba fita ba etsa ba re batho ba mo magwa mo ba re sebedisa re kgona ho thola dijo ha sa thowe no sa kgona ho thola dijo ka re kata re kata ho fa re tsebe Sisi Ntombela tseba re thola bophelo bo teng Johnny ta ga etsa ka fita a joina sa fetsa ka to share after that ka great re tsamaya fita la tropo no ka selo ka COVID ha ke la hae ke se tsamile ke tsamile before mang ke majitang ku no Johnny ta ha le ke mo na la tila to la ka ba bang re Johnny ka ne khale ke le siko ke khutletse tropo ke bona majita itabeng ka kopa no ke go disitse mo ke mpe ke lo dula teng ka mpela why ke khola ke batho ba ile khale ke no Johnny ta go khutela ma ga sa shebile go fra on pele no ha ke batle ke batla fela motho ka nthusa la ka ba ke yena Sisi Ntombela ma ka nthusa fela ka thola thuso ka kgona thola mosebetsi ka bo ka kgona ka rekelwa sound ka kgona thusa family ya ke thusa mkono wangu.
So he says that what would make the difference is that back then, after he'd gone through rehab, he didn't really have support. You know, they were sent to a shelter where they were not really taken care of. There was not really much support. They still had to go out and fend for themselves. So for them at the time, that was the biggest challenge, and that's what ultimately again brought him to be back in the streets again. And he says that he's quite talented. He knows how to dance. If he's able to go through a rehab program and, you know, restart his life, he could even do with a sound system, you know, that perhaps he could make a living out of. But he does believe that he's quite talented and he's able to do something if he just gets the necessary support. What's about COVID-19?
yona ile ka ona gore ne ha re jwa ane mo dulang teng strategy mo dula mo seng re ho ga hemelana ka tsuisana mane mang go re ba ba hlela ba 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 tsholidi ba ba le treatment a o shapo le mo a o sifi le ba sifi boneng batho ba ga ba tla bo ditaweng ba boneng ba ngwa dipo gona nna ke motho a etsang tiro le batho ke go bana le bona boneng ba gona go ba re betsa fela re bone fela re shapo
ke bo mang ba le betsa
batho bana ba no mo tropong ba bang le ba like ba bang ba ngwa mbopo motho ba bona fela ntella fela ba re ke mla ke nteng mbopo bo ntse jalo bontsha o se no I want to do to hole le high ke batho go tla high ke thuse nkgono wa ka le bona ngwana iso wa la bo thuse le bona ba hanke family.
So Mpa says that he knows, we just spoke about the COVID-19 pandemic, he knows about the coronavirus, but obviously he says that where they are living at the moment as homeless people, the conditions, you know, they are not really ideal, especially in this pandemic that we're living through. You can easily get sick because they sleep quite close to one another. He also says that one of the challenges they're experiencing here on the streets is that people from just about anywhere, people that are drinking in town, come there and they assault them, vulnerable where they are. But for him, the big thing is that he really, really wants to go back home. This is all we have for you today from the streets of Bloemfontein on this World Homelessness Day. With that, it's back to you in studio.
Thank you very much indeed, Palesa. You know, Paul talking about some of his talents there. Good dancer. We heard from Lerato Fakisi earlier on, speaking to somebody who's extremely talented in singing as well. We know that talent needs to be nurtured. Support systems needs to be in place in order to grow, nurture this talent as well. So it talks to that. What sort of support are they getting? He also spoke about the issue of going into rehab. What about relapse prevention? Let me bring in an organization who also screens the homeless for drug and alcohol rehabilitation before training them with skills to help provide job opportunities, with on-the-job training, formal skills and ongoing therapy and relapse prevention. That is key. To talk to us more about this program,